Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on May 7th, 2022 at approximately 6:17 p.m. PST. Well, being an even day, today's actually an odd day. We're going to take a look. We're going to keep focusing on the heart of your home. Okay, the feel of where you're working, of where you're living. Now remember, before I get into it, understand I came back to this world for one primary reason. Okay, and that is to simply pass on a simple message to everyone in existence. Working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I've been working in the consulting field. I came back to this world this lifetime for that purpose, and due to that, I've been working in the consulting field since I was 10 years old. This means I've been at this for, at this point, 48 years. Okay, not really that old, but that's okay. Not from my standpoint, anyway. I've dealt with questions all the way from relationships to business to UFO technologies, alien interactions, alien societies, all of these things. Okay, now, with that in mind, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel, okay, as in order to spread this message to everyone, I am going to require your assistance, and it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, now I'm looking at a number of things here. As a matter of fact, I should probably be looking at what I'm actually required to know. One of the things that you'll find with me is I do tend to get a little sidetracked on occasion. Okay, right now I'm just checking to see where my situation is facing here. Let's see. You go to my channel and find out what I'm dealing with. Hey, way to go. Now there's about the level of excitement I get to. Okay, I had a goal of hitting 200, and my latest goal where it came to subscriptions was to get to 250. Well, as of right this moment, I am now at 251. To me, this is great. It's nothing compared to many of the major YouTubers that are out there. I'm not competing with them. I'm competing with me. I set goals for myself that are understandable, reasonable, and attainable. Okay. To this end, I keep an ongoing list. Okay, because in order to attain the goals that you're aiming for, I have found it to be most effective to put a list together. It was a tool I was given by somebody years ago. You take a look at the things that are going on in your life right now. Now, for example, right this moment, one thing that's got to be finished, obviously, is the recording of this particular video. So I have that on my list right now. Today's been hectic like you would not believe, but what I'm looking at here is how to get your home, okay, the feel of your primary living and your primary workspace in order. Okay, so the first goal right now, because I've been way too busy today, I didn't get a lot of my goals sorted around, but this is what I mean when we talk about you come off track a little, get back on it. Okay. Once I get done this particular video, I will clear out the office again. Now, here's a neat little thing. Okay, I have a couple of major goals. Now, obviously, the one is to get this message out. A second one, well, where it comes to videos, okay, to the vlogs, okay, on the odd days, I'm going to be looking at the feel of the home, where everything really takes a second step. First step is right here with you personally. Okay, now if you've got questions, it doesn't matter to me what the topic. Drop the question into the comments below. I would love to hear them. Now, I call myself a spiritual guide because of one little detail. The tools I offer are ones I personally have used and am continuing to use where they apply to me. to change my life from where it was to where I desire it to be. Now, here's the kicker to it. You don't have to know the final goal. All you have to know to change your life for the better is take a look at where your life currently is and ask yourself one thing. Are you content with your life in its current place? Now, this is one of the tools I use consistently, and I've showed it to you before. As you can see, I've made this tool, this particular message. There we go. I am worth it. This was done the old-fashioned way. Okay, what I mean by that is I took a chunk of wood, and using a magnifying lens, I burnt this whole thing in, just using the magnifying lens and the sun. Okay, but because I haven't found a place to actually hang it right now, I desire it in my office, so it sits down here on the floor beside me. I've got that same sign on my fridge in the kitchen. Okay, and the reason I recommend you put it there, putting it here in the brain of your house and home, those 4 words are the strongest combination of words in any language I've come across regarding helping build your self-worth, self-esteem, self-motivation. Okay, you name it, it helps really well on the psychological side of it. Even helps with dealing with depression and what have you. Now, you'll notice I said help. Every tool I talk about utilizing does not replace the tools you're working with. It works in conjunction with them. Okay, now, I recommend keeping it in your brain, in your office, wherever you work on your finances, because it will help keep you focused. I know this for an absolute certainty because it helps keep me focused, and the literally thousands of people I've offered it to, it has helped them. Now, this particular little book, not that one, this particular little book, okay, Believe in Yourself and Follow Your Dreams, is the backbone of the tools that I use regarding modifying your own outlook on your own life. These are simply tools. This one's on business. Okay, these are simply tools that I work with. The philosophies in life that I work with and that I offer to you are the same philosophies I personally live by. Okay, and those are the karmic laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. And energy out, energy in. Now, take a look at whatever guidelines you personally use, wherever they came from, okay, and compare them to those 3. And I do believe you will find them, and you will find your rules all fit inside of my 3. Now, with this in mind, follow your own rules, absolutely. The reason I look at my 3 is, well, consider me being lazy. I only have to remember 3. Okay, and as long as you follow those 3, you can take your life and turn it around. Now, this is not the only way to do it. It is simply the only way I personally work with, and the only way that I have guided over 80,000 clients to work with. Okay, now, I'm looking at the heart, the feel of your home. Now, with that in mind, money has become a staggering draw to so many people. But to show you what it means from my end this is what happens, or what has happened. Prices are continually going up, and I keep looking at this going, this is going to lead to a disaster. Prices keep going up. People are less able to, and this is where it affects everybody. Now, those of you that are fighting on the edge of poverty, okay, as I did for decades, for virtually all my life, okay, I lived on the point where I have one paycheck to make certain that I don't end up out on the street. Okay, the tools I work with have reduced my stress to a staggering low. Okay, as in instead of only having one paycheck away from the street, I now have almost 4 months of living expenses. Almost. I've got about 3 months of living expenses sitting in my easy access. Okay, without causing me any complication before I hit the red line, if you will, on the gas tank. But by following these rules, my stress level has gone right through the floor. Yours can as well, but it's up to you to pick those tools up. Now, one of the things I did, I run my own business as I've mentioned before, Inner Voice Enterprises. Okay, now I was up until the end of April. Okay, I was charging $180 an hour. Okay, I got caught up in the same thing everybody else has got caught up in. And I kept, over the years, I'd up my prices a little. This is an insane maneuver. Okay, because, and the reason I say that, okay, is because when you take a look at it, if you're constantly raising prices and you're constantly bringing the cost of living up, you're creating a problem for yourself. Now, for those of you still living on the edge of poverty, and quite frankly, in my eyes, I still am, but for those of you living there, it won't make a whole lot of difference. You've had to struggle the better portion of your life. But for those of you that are actually in a position, as in running a business, okay, I absolutely encourage you to take a look at it. And I'll go into this more. I'll go into this more tomorrow when I start looking at the finances. But what I did, because it felt like the right thing to do, I was, until the beginning of this month, until April 30th of 2022, I was charging $180 an hour, okay, for consulting fees. May 1st of 2022, I shared my consulting fees from $180 to $90 an hour. Now, at $90 an hour, I can still live quite comfortably. Now, where is it? There it is. If you think about that, I'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, I will walk you through the reason why that works. But I tell you this, the moment I did that, all of a sudden, my sense of being able to help the people that really require it, I've got 40 years experience in this field. And yet, I've just shared my cost. Now, should people pay for the experience of the people that you're dealing with, of the consultants you're going to? Absolutely. Okay, I dropped my cost because to me it felt right. And if people start dropping their prices, you'll find not only will you get more people coming through the door, okay, because what happens there, let me see if I've got this information handy. Okay, let's go to my business. Okay. Where are we? Okay, I dropped my prices in May. Okay, dropped them at the beginning of the month. And already I've made almost as much this month as I did last month, charging at 180. And I'm only I'm only what here? Well, I missed something. Oh well, doesn't matter. I'm only 7 days in, and I've already made more in my business than I did last month for the entire month. And you'll notice, like I said, I share the cost, and all of a sudden, income goes up. Now, to me, this is an absolutely remarkable result. Okay, with that in mind, I just want to check something here while I'm standing here. See, one of the things about this is frankly, the more you have going on, I think I'm going to fade out here. Where are we? Bingo. Nope. Yep, there we are. One of the things that I found is this. By bringing that down, my energy level all of a sudden jumped. Not only that, but my health. I've been suffering for the last week. I threw my back out. But I dropped the prices, and all of a sudden my health is starting to climb. For the first time in a week, I'm finally starting to be able to move comfortably. That little bit of getting up is because my back is starting to heal. Now, I've got my brain in the home. This is still the brain, the office, where you work on your finances. That is not only the brain of the home, it's also the brain of the house. Okay. The more clear the energy is. Like, this is where I work on my finances. over here, okay, let's just get that out of the way. Move that out of the way. As you can see, that desk, so you can't see all of it by any means, because this shelf here, but you see how clear that desk is? That's my painting desk. Okay, that's where I work on my figures. On these guys. Okay, when I get done this video, this is one of the things I'm going to be working on. The neat part about it, okay, now I don't know, is it in here? Of course not. Nope. When you start looking at the heart of your home, okay, here we go. Tanabe. This little guy here. Okay, I know you can barely see him, so let's move him over there. This is the size character that I work with. Now, tonight, I'm going to be painting him. Okay, as a matter of fact, I should get that dealt with here. Again, that's my creative side. That's where I do the painting. I do all my writing for the books and what have you here. Well, that's not entirely correct. I do the hard copy writing here. The soft copy, and that gets done quite often in one restaurant. Okay. But when I get done when I get done posting this video, I will go and get some of that painting done. But the reality is, the more the energy is running smoothly, the more you focus on that side of it. Okay. The easier things are going to be. You know, from your end, you'll find your energy goes up like mine did. Your stress level collapses. And I'll tell you, if you're fighting depression, having your stress level collapse is a staggeringly enjoyable thing. I would not have believed how much energy it is possible to reclaim had I not gone through it myself. Okay. It just dawned on me. I've got one other thing. I'm looking at this, and you know, so many people worry about the image they put out for other people. Okay. I was talking to one person today that literally said they keep their office in good shape to make it so that everybody thinks they are actually organized. I'm telling you right off the bat, I am not the most organized individual. Okay, but at the same time, what you see behind me, I never use a green screen. Okay, this is who I am. You ever walk into my house, you'll find it's the same way. It is getting clearer. And what I did find is by clearing the clutter out of the way, by getting things organized, you'll find that the energy climbs much faster for you. Your ability to maneuver, your ability to think, actually, and the ability to feel, in all fairness, climbs very quickly. Now, the thing I just added to my list over here, okay, not the sideburns, but all of this is going. Who's it going for? Well, considering the fact I live only with my son, I'm certain, you know, if you think about that, I'm doing it for me because I desire all of this to be gone. Now, the sideburns, in all fairness, I'm pretty certain, I haven't quite decided, but I'm pretty certain that because my father had sideburns all the time, that may be where that attachment to them comes from. But like I told my other half, I like them, therefore I'm keeping them. Okay, and that's just the way that goes. Okay, they were okay with that, so I'm good. Well, maybe not good, but at least I'm content with me. If you cannot be content with you, you're going to have a hard time being content with your partner and the reason, or your friends. And the reason for that is because if you're concentrating so much on altering your behavior or your appearance in life, you're going to be hard pressed to stay and keep it that way if it's going against what you personally feel. Okay, to this end, it is absolutely critical that you follow that first karmic law. You must be true to you first. That is absolutely imperative. Okay, if you're not remaining true to you, what's going to happen here is you're going to spend so much energy striving to appear correctly, striving to keep a face on that other people are happy with, you're going to, in all likelihood, lose track of who you are. Now, you do it long enough and you'll forget entirely. Okay, this is what has happened with society. People have been taught, make sure everybody else is happy. They came up with this neat little idea, let's be politically correct. Make sure when you say something, like I got told by a friend of mine years ago, I got told point blank, you've got to learn tact. I looked at the person and I went, tact, what do you mean? They said, well, tact is the ability to make them, to tell them where to go and have them look forward to the trip, which is a cute way of looking at it. But I says, okay, let me ask you this. If I'm already mad enough, if I'm already annoyed enough or frustrated enough with you to tell you where to go, why do I care whether you're happy if you're on your way? My interest at that point is get away from me. Okay, so am I a tactful individual? Debatable. Politically correct? Absolutely not. Now here's the thing. Okay, because of the way that I look at the world. Now, when you start discussing philosophies, okay, my personal opinion is this: you get into a philosophical discussion. If you come away still secure in your philosophy, without actively questioning it, or even in the back of your mind questioning it, okay, then quite frankly, you're still dealing with the same philosophy. If you're questioning it, your personal philosophy you've been living by may be a little bit complicated. It may be leading you down a difficult situation. Okay. Now, here's the thing. When I talk about your healing, as your energy level comes back into balance, as you get rid of the clutter in your life, the physical stuff and the thought processes. Okay, I sent a message to a number of people just about a month and a half ago. Okay, and what I told them was point blank, I'm no longer making excuse. I'm no longer explaining why I'm doing things so that they can be happy about it. I'm going to do them because they feel right to me. I even went so far as to say maybe my problem is I never learned to be dishonest. Okay, it just never added up for me. Now, this does not mean I've always been absolutely honest. I'm certain that when I was a kid, I undoubtedly, I undoubtedly lied. I undoubtedly fabricated things. But in the last 30 years, I cannot recall a time when I've done that. I have certainly omitted things, but then so have you. Now, for those of you that think omission is as bad as lying, as bad as deception, ask yourself this. If you ask me, what am I doing? Okay, I'll tell you right now, I'm talking to you. Now, that's absolutely what I'm up to. Okay, quite often I feel like I'm talking to myself, but did I lie? Absolutely not. However, did I tell you everything I'm doing? No. And neither do you. And here's the difference between lying and omitting. I did not tell you. When you asked what I was doing, I said, I'm talking to you right now. I'm taking time out to record the journey. Okay. Now, what I didn't tell you, what I omitted, was I'm scanning the area behind me. Not only, quite frankly, for extra residents, which I've got a couple back there, but I'm looking at the clutter behind me and I'm analyzing here, right now, what has to be corrected, what I've got to clear out of the way for me to be content. Okay, now I'm looking here, but even over here on this shelf, way back here, I can see what's going on here as far as the clutter I've got. So I'm planning that. I'm also omitting the fact that I'm seeing the movement out here outside my window. I'm omitting the fact I'm breathing. I'm omitting the fact that I'm smelling the incoming sets of spring. These are all sorts of things that I'm doing. I'm also omitting the fact that I'm concerning myself with whether this message is getting across to you. Okay, now I cannot do a thing, and this is something you've got to keep in mind. You cannot do a thing about how I'm going to respond to your behavior, nor can I do anything how you're going to respond to my behavior. All that we can control is how we respond to the things that happen around us. Ultimately, the only thing you have in life is your word. That's it. Okay? Because it's the one thing that nobody can take from you. Okay? People can coerce you to give it to them. They can threaten you and bully you into giving you their word. But they cannot take your word. They can twist your words, absolutely. But the act of actually taking your word is impossible. Okay, somebody could physically take my ring. Okay, very important ring to me. This little thing doesn't look like much. Okay, but it means a lot. Okay, yes, it is sterling, and what it is sterling silver malachite, which, by the way, is a very inexpensive ring. Okay, at least I presume. But the reason it's important is not because of how much money it's worth. It's because it came from my second eldest brother when he passed away. I got this ring. Okay, and this is my link to him. Aside from memory. Does it have any monetary value? I doubt it. Okay, all it is silver and malachite. To me, it's invaluable. Now, this is not an invitation for somebody to come along and steal it like somebody did with a few other rings of mine. But the value of somebody, the worth of somebody is not in the size of their pocketbook. And this is why I say you must be true to yourself first. It's imperative you take a look at the way your life is going and go, am I content? Now, this list here, I'm just coming down to the end. Okay, so this first item on my list, what I do is I'll end up checking off the journey. I'll get it posted. Then I will deal with cleaning this office and the tail end of the office sorted around. Things like letter opener has to go where it belongs. Okay, and I'll clear this desk off altogether. Once you get one task checked off, keep it to a minimum of 3. Okay, now I end up doing them out of order quite often. But by doing that, you can get the energy running properly. Now, I'm going to let you go. Okay, I've got a whole bunch of things I still have to get done. But with that in mind, okay, I will be back again tomorrow. We will be talking about your house, the finances, the way to get the physical world working. So I will be back tomorrow. Okay. And I'll be back probably in the morning because from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be back on a live stream, okay, on YouTube to talk about soulmates. Okay, I talked about this today, but in case you didn't get the whole thing, I will be talking about it again tomorrow. Okay, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.